The quiet girl looked up at her ceiling. She simply could not fall asleep. Her dark green eyes hid behind her eyelids and then came out from hiding, like a game of peekaboo. She turned and twisted in her bed and she still couldn't sleep, no matter how comfortable she was in her queen-size bed. Why can't I sleep? She asked herself softly. Then, all of a sudden, she heard bushes rustling outside her window. She immediately and quietly jumped out of bed and went to her window. She opened the curtain and saw nothing but the bushes blowing in the wind. She sighed and went back to bed. Why am I so paranoid tonight? Is it because that killer's on the loose? She said to herself. Her thoughts immediately stopped at that last sentence. Why is she so paranoid of this killer? He's from Wisconsin. He's not even in Connecticut, Julie. Just stay calm and go to sleep, she told herself, and she did fall asleep right after that sentence. The next morning, she turned on the news and lay down on the couch. She didn't feel like getting dressed this Saturday morning. She watched the TV as the news lady came on the screen. This just in. Jeff the killer has stricken again. Witnesses say the victim was a boy by the name of Justin Williams. Here's a picture of the boy. The screen popped up a picture of the boy and Julie's eyes opened wide. Oh my God. That's the kid from my science class, she said out loud. She finally realized that he murdered someone not only in her state, but in her own town. Paranoia rushed through her veins as she turned the volume up and peered her ears closely. For privacy purposes, we cannot show you the photo of the gruesome scene. Williams had his mouth gashed wide open and his eyelids burnt off. He also had his stomach torn open and organs spilling out of his stomach at the crime scene. There will be more on the story later on tonight at... Julie cut off the TV before the newswoman could finish her sentence. Oh my God. He's actually in Hartford, she said with her eyes focused on the blank TV. She got up from the couch. What am I going to do? She asked herself in a panicked tone. She finally got an idea and ran upstairs to her bedroom. She grabbed her suitcase out from under her bed and started packing her clothes and necessities that she would need for about 2 nights. An hour after she was finished packing, she grabbed her money and purse. She walked outside of her house and locked the front and back doors. She had locked all of the windows inside of the house after she packed. She went to her car and put away her suitcase in the trunk. She got into the driver's seat and started up the car. Julie backed out of the driveway and drove far. She drove out of the state of Connecticut and finally ended up in Springfield, Massachusetts. She pulled into a hotel parking lot and parked her car. She got her things out of her car and walked into the hotel lobby. She found the front desk and the man there greeted her with a warm,
"Hello."
She smiled and walked up to the counter. Hello there. I would like to stay here for 1 night, she said with a warm smile.
How many people are with you?
I'm alone. He typed some information into the computer.
ID, please.
She pulled out her ID from her wallet and gave it to the man. He typed in more information and gave her ID back to her.
That'll be $60, ma'am.
Julie reached into her wallet and gave the man 3 $20 bills. The man took the money and gave her a card key.
You'll be in room 628 on the 3rd floor. Enjoy your stay.
Thank you, Julie said as she went up to her room. When she was settled in her room, it was about 7 p.m. She yawned and rubbed her eyes. I'm so sleepy. I think I'll just... Her words were cut off by the breaking sound of glass. She gasped and turned around, only to freeze with terror. The infamous Jeff the Killer had broken into her hotel room. He stared down to her with his black, soulless eyes. His smile was quite gruesome. It seemed to be getting bigger and more horrifying by the moment. His black, greasy hair rested at about his shoulder blades. His white hoodie was stained with the blood of past victims. Julie couldn't even speak. She was too scared of what this killer was going to do. Jeff moved close to the frightened woman and observed her closely.
Didn't you say you were tired?
He said in a sick, menacing lisp. The horrified Julie just slowly shook her head no. He got close to her face. The smell of death reeked from his breath. She almost gagged from the smell. His eyes had some sort of flame to them, something that if you saw would make you go completely insane.
Go to sleep,
he whispered to Julie. Her eyes widened more and she finally screamed, "No!" But it was too late. He grabbed her by the arm and stabbed her in the stomach. She screamed in pain as blood flowed from her abdomen. She struggled, but Jeff was too strong for her to escape. He pinned her down onto the bed violently and put the blade to her mouth. She screamed bloody murder as he dragged the blade across her cheeks, making her face similar to his. He took out his lighter and burned her eyelids off. She screamed even more, but it was gurgled by the blood flowing from her mouth to her throat. He giggled and laughed as she was screaming in pain. She couldn't believe she was still alive. She wanted to slip away from life so badly, just to get away from this monster. He started to gut her. She screamed loudly, but then the screaming died to a soft, helpless whisper. He stared into her eyes.
Go to sleep,
he told her in a raspy lisp. Right after he said that, the life left her eyes, and she laid there motionless on the bed, in her own blood. Jeff laughed loudly and escaped out of the hotel room and into the night, off to continue his murder spree until the day he dies.